The headline is that in the very first year after the voters gave the legislature the ability to pass a budget by majority vote, that we did so on time, and we made a significant dent in California's structural budget deficit. That's my little cute and clever, or not, big can, little can here. You know, it's the great cliche is that we just kick the can down the road. And of course, you know, for many reasons, namely the 2/3 supermajority requirement used to be about budget and still is about revenue, that the choices often are between even deeper and unacceptable cuts or one-time solutions so that the cuts don't have to be deeper. Imperfect as this is, the fact of the matter is that we began this year with a $26.5 billion budget deficit, and we have reduced the long-term deficit to single digits, to less than $10 billion. You know, give or take, it'll be about $8 billion. It's not perfect, but it is progress. And it is progress that was done, unfortunately, without the support of the minority party. It was done by, frankly, having the majority party step up and make decisions, and I think even Senator Dutton acknowledged this, that I couldn't imagine making in any other time. I mean, whether it's Prop 63, whether it is the cuts to health and human services, whether it's the terrible cuts to higher education, the courts, whether it's the fact that without the revenue now, public education will receive $3 billion less than what they otherwise would, and that teachers are still going to be laid off in the thousands. This was very, very tough. But we've been given the responsibility, and we certainly have done, I think, a very good job with the tools at our disposal. And I think, if I may, and then I'll answer your questions, it is a demonstration that we would rather work across the aisle and pass bipartisan solutions, but it is a clear signal and sign that we are willing to exercise our majority power to make progress, and we will continue to look at the future, whether it's the budget or other issues, in the same way.
Any inclination from the governor about whether or not he'll sign this?
No, I don't. I mean, I've had a number of conversations with the governor, you know, throughout the weeks on this, and I think he'll speak for himself, of course, but I think he understands exactly why we did what we did today. I would expect that, you know, he would take the next couple of weeks to continue to push for his plan, and I support that. And I think if there is still a way that a couple of the Republican members are willing to vote for the bridge funding, which is another way of saying $2 billion or so, to make sure that we can get to an election about the long-term revenue, then, you know, we'll be happy to come back out to our floor and pass his plan. But if we get to June 29th, 30th, and those votes are not forthcoming, this is about as good as it gets, and it does, in fact, take that large can and reduce it to single digits.
What happens if he vetoes that? I mean, what would that do to the budget talks?
Well, I don't know. I mean, certainly, I mean, we respect the constitutional separation of powers. We've met our constitutional deadline and presented, I think, the very best Plan B that could be presented. And if the governor does veto the bill, then we'll address that. But I am sure of this, at least I'm hopeful, that we will have many conversations between now and the 30th of June, because, we have worked very closely with him and believe that his plan A, where there is real revenue and the opportunity for longer-term revenue, even with the vote of the people, that's the best option.
Republicans say that they believe this proves that the bridge tax is not necessary.
Hey, Mark, I didn't see you there. Come sit with me. It's okay. Okay, keep going.
This proves that a bridge tax is not necessary, that you found solutions that could be used to bridge you over.
And there's still a real can, and it's still significant, and we're frankly underfunding higher education and health and human services and public safety. We have 40,000 inmates that over the next short period of time are going to begin to be released from state prison. And we need to support our local sheriffs, our local public safety officials, and they need the revenue. So this is not, we're measured here in terms of the way we want to portray this. We don't. Yes, of course, Mark.
We still have $9.4 billion in deferrals to K through 12, $11 billion on top of that in maintenance factor, another $1 billion in settle-up dollars to K through 12, huge sums of money in education. We're still, with all that money owed, spending less per pupil than just about every other state in the country. As Darryl pointed out, our tuition rates are the highest they've ever been in history. Our contribution of general fund money to higher education is its lowest level in history. In addition to that $8 billion can that is reduced from the 26th, we also have a $34 billion wall of debt.
Yeah, this Plan B, unfortunately, does not address the wall of debt. And
the governor would have brought it down to $6 billion in 3 years.
correct.
CSAC today said that this budget sort of a return to the bad old days of gimmicks and kicking the can down the road. Chief Justice of the Supreme Court has said this could be devastating to courts in California. Can you respond to those concerns?
Well, with regard to the Chief Justice, who's my old classmate, I saw her expression of unhappiness, and my response is, I don't blame her. She should be. It's exactly the right response, because wasn't a good cut. But then the argument by some would be, and maybe there's an internal contradiction between the two parts of your question, because then some would say, well, you're loaded up with gimmicks. Use that gimmick word. So in the absence of revenue, would those critics suggest that we cut the courts even deeper? Would those critics suggest that we cut public safety deeper, education deeper, higher education deeper? You do the very best you can with the tools that you have. And it's not great, but it's not bad to take a $26 billion problem down to about 8 and preserve all we've been able to preserve. And as Mark said, why do you need the revenue? Number one, there's still a long-term deficit, and we're underfunding far too many services and investments that not only are important to people in need, but are the centerpiece of economic recovery. Higher education? What are we doing here? What are we doing here that we don't say as a matter of absolute policy? Maybe all 40 of us should sign pledges saying that, we are committed to higher education and public education. I mean, there are choices to be made here. We made the best choices, the very best choices, with the tools that we have at our disposal, without, frankly, a bit of support from the minority party. We didn't complain about it. Just went out to our floor, the red carpet, as I said we would do, and we passed a budget on time.
Just to follow up on the
Yeah.
Chief Justice, I mean, it's not, it's sort of beyond unhappiness is what she's expressing. I mean, she's saying this could really, devastate a critical part of,
Well,
functioning democracy of the state.
we will work with the court, certainly, to one, I believe in giving the Chief Justice and the Judicial Council as much discretion as possible in how they implement that cut. Secondly, we will try, and I told the Chief Justice this directly, and I'd say the same thing to the good people at the UC and the CSU. We will try to restore these cuts. I mean, if we get an economic rebound, or certainly if we get a revenue solution here over the next couple of weeks, not, holding my breath, but if we do, then, the first thing we'll do is restore those cuts. There are some who argue, there's sort of this difference of when you talk to people, especially involved here. People need to feel and see the consequences if we're going to change, if public opinion is going to change. On the other hand, who wants to inflict more pain and difficulty for these essential public institutions? And the only right balance is to make sure that you create as many ongoing solutions as possible, because we must, and at the same time not do any greater damage than you absolutely have to. And it's imperfect.
How do you respond to the criticism from the GOP4 that basically, the deal could be had, but the unions blocked it through you?
Inaccurate. The deal broke down plain and simple for one reason. The 4 or 5 refused to vote for the funding necessary for public safety and public education to get to an election. It's that simple. The governor said it. We've said it. It's the truth. And they even went so far as to publish the, quote, deal points. Well, some of that was a little bit, was a little bit maybe, beyond what I believe the governor had agreed to. But the essence of it was correct. And with the bridge, that combined with the reforms, we were ready to go. And we'd be ready to go over the next 2 weeks to do that, if that came together.
Only one party signed pledges to special interest.
We don't sign pledges. We do not sign pledges. But I'm saying if we took the same sort of attitude that, our way or the highway, we will never vote to cut.
If we signed pledges that we would never make cuts, you would all laugh at us. But the other side says they won't talk about revenue, and they get away with it.
So
you're talking about the next 2 weeks. Are you asking the governor to hold off on signing this, or to continue?
No, this is the governor's prerogative, and and it's his timing. I'm just saying that if he says, I want to continue to fight for Plan A over the course of the next couple weeks, I'd fully support that. It's a better plan.
You're going to send it down right away.
Oh, we're sending it down right away. Sure.
What do you think changes over the next 2 weeks if there also for Republican votes you didn't have already?
I don't know that anything does. I don't know that anything does. But there is a new window, so to speak, where it could change if they wanted to.
Do you think there will be enough pain in the next year for voters, say November 12th, to bite the bullet on taxes?
I think people are frustrated with the fact that the public institutions they depend upon, their schools, their universities, and certainly their public safety officers are struggling to make ends meet. I think when you see what's going on in every community with the layoffs of police officers and sheriffs and teachers, and the fact that young people who simply want to go to the community college or the university are having a difficult time gaining basic access. And then when they do get in, they have to pay record level fees. That there is a growing sentiment that we have to be willing to pay for what we say we want and what we know we need. And I think that, yeah, it will come to a head. And it may require a citizens' initiative. But let's see. Always hold out, always got to hold out the olive branch. And I thought the debate today was very civil, and I really appreciated Senator Dutton's comments. I thought that he, spoke very well. And, you cannot, in this, when you are trying to protect education and public safety, you cannot just rely on one pathway. You have to be open to the multiple pathways to get to the goal. And the goal is to make sure that we protect the taxpayer, that we create jobs, but that there is enough resources to be able to call our public schools and our universities the pride of the nation. That's what we want. That's what we aim for.
You
Thank
did
you.
ask about realignment today. When do you expect to pull that trigger, and how do you pay for it if things don't change?
Well, that is topic A. And now that we're done with this chapter, in addition to making the fixes to redevelopment that we spoke about on the floor today, we're going to get right to that. When we go to the floor, I'm not exactly sure yet.
And do you know how you would pay for it?
Don't know yet.
To be determined.
Don't know yet. But again, another message to our Republican colleagues, which is please fund public safety. Please fund public safety. There's no turning back the Supreme Court decision. There's no turning back the fact that police and sheriff's departments and officers are going to be responsible for a much greater load. Give them the resources they need to do their jobs.
But they're opposed to realignment. I mean, what's
The sheriffs?
No, I'm sorry. Republicans in general opposed to the realignment plan. They prefer other options there. What do you think?
Well, number one, I'm not sure what their other options are because they haven't addressed what no one suggested defying the Supreme Court of the United States. I haven't heard that. So, the absence of that, the facts are the facts, and local government is going to be responsible for more people than they are now. They need the resources to be able to do it. It's not that complicated.
But you guys are not pulling the trigger now. Why? What's the incentive for them to help you get to a point where you can pull the trigger if they oppose the realignment?
Well, I think it is going to take continued forceful advocacy by the law enforcement community to change that current reality. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.